Age 81, President Biden is the oldest commander-in-chief in U.S. history, but former President Trump just celebrated his 78th birthday on Friday. For some, all of this could mean age and acuity questions about both candidates. Let's bring in Mara Gillespie, BlueStack Strategies founder and former advisor to Speaker John Boehner, as well as Congressman Adam Kinzinger. Good to see you, Mara. Thank you for joining us. We could go many places with here, but I think we'll start here. So first, do you think that for some, the age comparison is an intentional distraction from comparing past performance and pending policy and promises for the people?
So I think the age question is something that people should be concerned about, but for both candidates that are leading the respective parties right now. And so it should come down to policy, and I hope that the debate at the end of the month shows us that, and they actually talk about the policy issues. But the cognitive decline in both candidates is very evident to anyone who's watching former President Trump give a speech, or anywhere really that President Joe Biden is going. And I think what it should really focus on for us as voters is the vice president pick. People really haven't given that much consideration to that in the past, but this election cycle, I believe the vice presidency and that selection and that choice is going to be more important than it ever has been before.
Okay. So meanwhile, though, to what degree of responsibility should all forms of media be held accountable with addressing this topic fairly and without favoritism?
Pointing out both sides of it, truly. I mean, it's like I said, it's evident when you listen to the former president give a speech. He goes on these tangents that honestly, I don't think he knows where he's going with it. And then he seems to be very confused and pivots back to some things that are just in his, repertoire of things that he always says. Similarly, you got to point out the fact that President Joe Biden seems to be confused in a lot of places where he is. And I'm not saying this to be mean. I honestly do think it's sad and it's disheartening to watch. And it's really sad to us as a country because it's a system where the political parties put these two candidates in this position, and their families are encouraging them to do this. Somebody needs to step in and say something. I would hope that at the conventions there's a conversation to be had about, is this really the best choice for each party to put these two gentlemen up there? I don't think that it is. And I would hope that, again, people are having real conversations about the toll that the 4 years of being president takes on any person. We saw it on, between the 40-year-olds and 50, 60-year-olds who were president in the years past, the toll that it took on them. And so imagine what this does to somebody who is already in a decline of cognitive abilities for both candidates here, and what another 4 years in this very strenuous job will do. It can be good for their health. And I think as a country, we should be, I do have sympathy for it because I feel bad for them. Honestly, it's sad to watch for both of them to be publicly displayed and watching their cognitive abilities decline like this. But, I think as a party, we should do better.
Mara, let me jump in there, though, because you had a lot to say there, and I'll follow up with a couple of questions. And no, it was good. At this point, do you expect either candidate to drop out of the race? There's one question. The next one, should an age limit to run for president be considered?
So in the first question, part of me still does believe that Joe Biden is not actually going to be the candidate. I have kind of long believed that in August he will let the party know that he is not up for another 4 years of this job. It's not good for him, his health, or for the country, or for the party. I think that there will be an opportunity there for him to do that. So I'll say that first. And second, it's not just about the age number, because there are plenty of people who are in their 70s who maybe have the cognitive abilities of a 50-year-old. It's not necessarily, it is very individual. So I don't want to put a blanket statement like that. But what we're watching play out for both President Biden and former President Trump is a cognitive decline, and it is obviously age-related. So there may be a question down the road that there maybe needs to be an age gap. I mean, we have a retirement age that is 65, and yet we have two people running for the highest office in the land, the commander-in-chief, the leader of the free world, and they're in a decline. And it's telling our enemies that we're weakened, essentially. And we need to be putting out a strong presence on the world stage. And I don't see how either of these candidates would present that strong image, unfortunately, for us. So it may be a conversation we need to have.
the age limit to run. That is, so by a certain time, you kind of max out in terms of age. And listen, we're certainly not trying to denigrate people in their 70s and 80s, because I know personally many of them who are very, very, very sharp. But we also know being the president is a whole other ball of wax and such a grueling job. Quickly, really quickly, short answer, because you said that you think President Joe Biden will possibly drop out before the convention, or at least by August. What do you think about the former President Trump? Is he in it for the long haul, or might he drop out as well?
No, he is in it for the long haul. He's not leaving.
Why do you say that so succinctly and emphatically?
Because he loves this. Former President Trump, he loves being on the center stage, and he would not want to give it to somebody else. And as long as he hold on to it, he's going to hold on to it.
Mara Gillespie, good to see you. We'll see you next time.